Chosen one, you've felt it, haven't you? In the last few days, something inside you has shifted. Perhaps the world around you has started to seem stranger. Perhaps you're feeling tired, isolated, misunderstood. But what you're feeling isn't madness. It's activation. Between now and September 7th, an energy far greater than we can see is moving. The July 9th portal is about to open, and with it, a spiritual revelation that can redefine your entire mission here on Earth. Not everyone is ready. Not everyone will realize it. But if you've been guided to this video, it's because your soul is prepared to receive this truth. Today, I'll reveal to you what's behind this portal, why you've been feeling what others haven't, and what you need to do now to navigate this phase with clarity and spiritual protection. By the end of this video, you will understand why you were separated, tested, and refined. Because what will be revealed on September 7th will not just be an energetic event, it will be a calling. Stay until the end. This may be the most important revelation of your spiritual life so far. There's a restlessness pulsing inside you, even when everything around you seems calm. An inner tension, as if two rhythms were clashing within you. The rhythm of a world determined to stay the same, and the rhythm of a soul that refuses to remain silent. Deep down, you feel that the time for excuses is coming to an end, but there's still a subtle attachment to your old self, as if changing would somehow be a betrayal. The total lunar eclipse in Pisces, happening on the July 9th portal, won't bring easy answers. Instead, it will open a psychic space for you to confront what truly needs to end. You're not in crisis, you're in birth. But before something new can emerge, something within you must die. Old beliefs, lingering guilt, silent agreements with versions of yourself that once protected you, but now hold you back. This transition may bring strange sensations, intense dreams, and memories resurfacing without warning. All of this is part of a cycle that needs completion, and only you can close that cycle. The sky illuminates, but the choice remains yours. At this time, you may feel more sensitive, raw, almost as if your skin were thinner. This isn't weakness, it's heightened awareness. It's life subtly telling you that something bigger is coming, but it depends on your emotional surrender. The eclipse doesn't destroy out of cruelty, it dissolves to set you free. And if a part of you still clings and resists, that may be the clearest sign that change is near. Not all pain is the end. Some pain is the labor of what truly matters. You don't need to understand everything right now, but you do need to accept that you are in transition. On the July 9th portal, the line between who you've been and who you are becoming will thin to a whisper. There is strength in looking inward, even when you don't have the words. There is revelation in the silence between breaths. And perhaps, just perhaps, this is the exact moment where your mission begins to reveal itself. Not as a loud epiphany, but as an ancient memory rising to the surface. Something that has always been yours, simply waiting for the right space to be born. There are moments when the universe doesn't shout. It simply approaches quietly and nudges at what you've been trying to avoid. The lunar eclipse in Pisces, on the July 9th portal, is that kind of moment. It doesn't demand a public decision or a perfect plan. It simply offers a mirror, reflecting what no longer fits within you. And even if you can't name what you're feeling, you already sense that the old is crumbling. There's no way to keep standing on a structure that is asking for a farewell. Some feelings never truly left. They just went quiet, stored away in inner compartments, waiting for the moment you'd be strong enough to face them. And now, in this very cycle, these feelings are returning, not as punishment, but as liberation. What hurts today may not be the end. It's the sign that the truest part of you is asking to be seen, felt, and reintegrated. Not everything needs to be solved, but everything needs to be acknowledged. During this eclipse, Your mind might seek logic and find none. That's because it's not meant to be understood with the mind, but with the heart. You might experience visions, memories, flashes of insight, or simply that unexplainable feeling that something is approaching. Don't ignore it. Don't reject it. Something is indeed being revealed, and you'll feel it more through your body than through words. The new doesn't require you to fight against yourself. It only asks you to stop hiding from yourself. When a rebirth cycle approaches, it rarely looks beautiful, but it's real, and what's real always transforms. This is the call to return to what truly matters, to what was left for later, to what you swore didn't matter, but still beats within you. The mission you sense doesn't come from the chaos of the world, but from the clarity of a heart willing to begin again. What will be revealed on the July 9th portal already lives inside you. It's ready. Now you are the one who needs to be. You followed instructions, built plans, waited for life to deliver answers in proportion to your effort. But now, something beyond your control is beginning to move. The total lunar eclipse in Pisces on the July 9th portal does not come to confirm certainties. It comes to dismantle them with divine precision. It is not punishment. It is liberation. That which no longer makes sense begins to collapse, even if you can't quite admit it yet. You feel something shifting inside you, as if what once was a priority is losing its shine. Your expectations, no matter how well-intentioned, may have been built for a version of yourself that no longer exists. And this current discomfort is not failure, it is transition. Everything that once felt solid within you may now turn to liquid, and that is frightening. But this is the language of Pisces, dissolving rigid forms to reveal what has always been beyond them. It's common to try to hold things together, to try to save what you've built. But there are moments when the real movement is to let go, not as an act of giving up, but as conscious surrender. The revelations of this eclipse do not scream. They whisper in the silence of your resistance. The universe does not want you to lose what has value. It only wants you to release what has already served its purpose. That is why what is collapsing now may, in truth, be the beginning of what has always been yours. You do not need to understand everything right now. You do not need to have a new plan. You only need to be present in the emptiness between what was and what is to come. The 7-9 portal does not follow logic, it follows truth. And the truth of the soul often breaks apart the expectations of the mind. If you allow it, this rupture can become the true starting point. Because what will be revealed does not fit into boxes, nor into scripts. It fits only into the space you are willing to open. There are moments when the universe doesn't shout. It simply draws near in silence and nudges at what you've been trying to avoid. The lunar eclipse in Pisces during the July 9th portal is that kind of moment. It does not demand a public decision nor a perfect plan. It simply offers a mirror that reflects what no longer fits within you. And even if you don't know how to name what you're feeling, you can already sense that the old is crumbling. There is no longer a way to sustain yourself in a structure that is asking for a farewell. Some feelings never truly went away. They just stayed quiet, hidden away in internal compartments, waiting for the moment when you'd have the strength to face them. And now, in this very cycle, these feelings are returning, not as punishment, but as liberation. What hurts today may not be the end. It may simply be the sign that the truest part of you is asking to be seen, felt, and reintegrated. Not everything needs to be resolved, but everything needs to be recognized. During this eclipse, your mind may seek logic and not find it, because this is not about understanding with reason, but with feeling. You may experience visions, memories, flashes, or simply that inexplicable sense that something is approaching. Do not ignore it. Do not reject it. Something is indeed being revealed. and you will feel it more through your body than through words. The new does not require you to fight against yourself. It only asks that you stop hiding from yourself. When a cycle of rebirth approaches, it rarely appears beautiful, but it is real, and what is real always transforms. This is the call to return to what truly matters, to what was left for later, to what you swore didn't matter, but still beats inside of you. The mission you sense does not arise from the chaos of the world, but from the clarity of a heart willing to begin again. What will be revealed in the July 9th portal already lives within you. It is ready. Now you must be ready too. You followed instructions. You built plans. You waited for life to deliver answers in the same measure as your effort. But now, something beyond your control begins to move. The total lunar eclipse in Pisces, during the July 9th portal, does not come to confirm certainties. It comes to dismantle them with divine precision. It is not punishment. It is liberation. That which no longer made sense begins to crumble. Even if you still can't admit it, you feel that something is shifting internally, as if what was once a priority has lost its shine. Your expectations, no matter how well-intentioned, may have been built for a version of you that no longer exists. And the current discomfort is not failure. It is transition. Everything that was solid within you may become liquid, and that is frightening. But this is Pisces language, dissolving rigid forms to reveal what has always been beyond. It's common to try to hold everything together, to try to save what you built. But there are moments when the true movement is to let go, not out of giving up, but through conscious surrender. The revelations of this eclipse do not scream. They whisper in the silence of your resistance. The universe does not want you to lose what has value. It only wants you to release what has already served its purpose. That is why what collapses now may actually be the beginning of what has always been yours. You do not need to understand everything now. You do not need to have a new plan. You only need to be present, in the space between what was and what is yet to come. The 7-9 portal does not follow logic, it follows truth. And the truth of the soul often breaks apart the expectations of the mind. If you allow it, this rupture can be the true starting point. Because what is about to be revealed does not fit into boxes nor into scripts. It only fits in the space you allow to open. Perhaps you haven't noticed, but you've already begun to distance yourself from the version of you that no longer serves you. Small discomforts, unexpected reactions, decisions that once seemed obvious now hesitate. This is not indecision, it is maturity. The eclipse in Pisces does not want you to abandon everything, but to recognize what is vibrating outside of your truth. There is something new asking to come through, and it does not fit into old expectations. When everything seems to fall out of plan, you might feel like you've lost your direction. But what if the direction was never really that one? What if the universe has simply been adjusting your path to what your soul has always known, but your mind still resisted accepting? During this eclipse, silent truths gain a voice, not with noise or drama, but in deep sighs, spontaneous memories, and synchronicities that poke at your most subtle sensitivity. It's likely that something needs to collapse, not to hurt, but to reveal. The mental plan you worked so hard to follow may have been just a bridge, and now it dissolves so you can walk on your own 2 feet. The revelations of the July 9th portal are not rewards for performance, but responses to your awakening. The more you align with what you feel, the less sense the disguises you wore out of fear of making mistakes will make. Letting go is not losing. It is trusting. And even if you cannot yet see the full picture, there is a calling behind the breaking, a calling for congruence, for integrity with what pulses inside you. Sometimes, the great purpose does not appear as a clear plan, but as an inner clarity that no longer accepts what once was. What will be revealed during this eclipse may not be what you expected, but it may be exactly what you needed to remember. You feel that you were not born just to repeat patterns. There is something inside you that screams for authenticity, but almost no one hears it, not even you on certain days. Amidst the routine, how many times have you swallowed words, disguised tears, or pretended not to care? The eclipse in Pisces, at the July 9th portal, is not interested in the armor you wear. It pierces through, dissolves, exposes. And it does this not to humiliate, but to liberate. This transit does not bring easy answers. It brings mirrors. And in each mirror, the image you projected begins to crack, allowing what has always been hidden to leak out. Perhaps you will realize you have spent too much time trying to fit in, trying to be what others expected. But what if your calling is not in what others want, but rather in what you fear to show? To be whole is riskier than to seem strong, but it is also more real. This emotional intensity may feel uncomfortable. Emotions you thought were resolved may return. Desires that once seemed inappropriate now demand space. There is a part of you that wants a voice, and it will no longer settle for silence. During the eclipse, the sky does not want you to understand. It wants you to feel, and through feeling, you will find the coordinates of your mission, not as a logical map, but as a vibration that finally makes sense. You were not born to hide. The world does not need your perfection, but rather your truth. The revelation of the July 9th portal is about emotional courage, the courage to be who you are, even without guarantees of acceptance. You no longer need to sacrifice your essence for belonging. When you allow yourself to exist without filters, your presence stops being adaptation and becomes transformative presence. You've spent so much time trying to please, to be accepted, to be seen as someone who is doing fine, that perhaps you've forgotten what it feels like to allow yourself to be true. The total lunar eclipse in Pisces, at the July 9th portal, disorganizes this character, not with violence, but with compassion, like a wave that silences control and returns you to what is essential. Everything that has been repressed, out of fear, guilt, or habit, can now emerge as part of your calling. And this time, it does not need to be suffocated. You feel that something greater is approaching, but it does not reveal itself to the character you invented. It only aligns with your essence. Pisces is the sign that dissolves boundaries, undoes masks, and brings you closer to your sensitivity as a strength. What you were once told was weakness can now become the path to your truest contribution. This is not a moment to appear. It is an invitation to be. Even if that disarms everything that seemed predictable, there may be tears. There may be temporary confusion. But do not fear. Clarity does not arrive through the rigidity of a plan. It comes when you trust the fluidity of feeling. The more sincere you are with yourself, the more this passage will become liberating. You do not need to define yourself with precision right now. You only need to not hide. The invisible world understands the language of emotion, not of performance, and it is listening. Something magnificent wants to be born, and your truth is the channel. Even if there is still fear, insecurity, or shame, something inside you knows. There is no more room for pretending. When you surrender fully, without fragments, what returns is a clean, deep, aligned calling. You will no longer be who you were, but you also don't need to be, because finally, you will be who you are. You've been closer to yourself before. At some point in the past, before the world's demands, you remembered what made you come alive, even if no one had taught you. But little by little, adaptation silenced parts of you. To fit in, you trimmed yourself down. To please others, you moved away from your own source. The total lunar eclipse in Pisces, at the July 9th portal, does not come to judge this. It comes to dissolve the guilt and activate the memory. The energy of this transit does not require mental effort, only sensitive permission. You don't need to understand everything clearly. You only need to feel where there is still longing for yourself. When Pisces fully touches the moon, something deep stirs in the collective unconscious, and also within you. This is a portal of dissolving spiritual shame, a return to the place you never should have exiled yourself from, a silent reintegration with the part of you that still remembers everything. You may perceive this as an unexplainable nostalgia, as a distant cry that comes, yet brings relief, or as a sudden insight revealing that you were never lost, only disconnected. This is not about going back to who you were, but about embracing who you have always been. The soul does not hold grudges. It only waits for the right moment to be remembered, and that moment has arrived. Allow yourself to dive in without the need to control. What will be revealed in this portal may not have a name, but it will have meaning. In its own intuitive language, Pisces whispers forgotten truths and returns to you the mission that had been dormant. If tears come, let them fall. If silence arrives, inhabit it. Because in reintegrating with your origin, you are not just healing. You are remembering to exist with purpose. Maybe you believed you needed to prove your worth. Maybe you learned to hide yourself so you wouldn't be rejected. But there is a part of you that never forgot who you are. A silent, sensitive part that is now starting to stir. The eclipse in Pisces activates this ancestral memory, as if time bent and you could hear the call of your origin. And what once felt distant now becomes intimate. This is not a moment for conclusions, but for reconnection. You don't need to know exactly what to do. You only need to allow yourself to feel. The Piscean energy doesn't demand formulas, only surrender. It dissolves rigid structures so that you can return to what's essential. Your innocence, your genuine feelings, your mission that beats beneath everything. At the July 9th portal, the reunion with this lost part may be the missing key. Be gentle with yourself. Sometimes, healing feels like a memory that hurts before it soothes. But behind that pain lies the seed of truth. You are more than you learned to be. The masks fall, not from weakness, but because your inner truth is demanding to come through. And this truth does not come from outside. It emerges from within, like a whisper you finally have the courage to hear. Now, everything is aligning so that you may choose to align with yourself. There is no point in holding on to what was built on denial. The eclipse doesn't erase the past. It reconfigures the way you carry it. What will be revealed at the July 9th portal is not just a cosmic revelation. It is an intimate reconnection with your essence. And by accepting it, you do not return to who you were. You finally begin to be who you came here to be.